To another edition of the Empower Hour. I am Al
And I'm Hanifa.
and we are your hosts each and every week, every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. We come to you with impactful topics of discussion that affect our everyday lives. This week is no different. We have two super duper special guests in the studio with us today to talk about this important message: the ballot or the bullet. So we have two individuals, and they both are on different sides of the spectrum. Now, of course, you know we keep it very professional and very respectable here on the Empower Hour. So although we may disagree on certain subject matters, we're able to come to the table and have a civilized discussion about them. So this is what we do here on the Empower Hour. So my brother here, Delaneo Miller, he is a community activist. He ran for state delegate in this last campaign. And so he's here on the side of why it's so important for us to vote as black people in this society. And then my brother Issa Rael is here representing himself as well as his body of work, extensive body of work. And he's here to talk about why voting may not be the thing to do for us as black people in this society. So, Hanifa, did you want to say anything?
Welcome, guys.
Welcome. It's an honor to be here. I'm so happy to be here today.
Yes, and thank you both for taking your time out to share in this important topic.
We're glad that you're here.
Yes. So Delano, just for starters, why do you believe voting is so important?
Why do I believe voting is so important? One, I look at things in a reverse. First of all, I wanted to thank you again for just inviting me first and foremost. I'm thinking that I was talented enough and gifted enough to come and speak on this issue. So I just want to thank you guys again. But yeah, voting is very important. One, I just go back and look at history, and I look at those who died for the right to vote. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a reason why the whites and the people that were trying to oppress black votes didn't allow us to vote. Mm-hmm. The black people were giving up their lives for something, and the white people didn't want you to go vote for something. Mm-hmm. They know that voting it shows forth power, and they don't want you to influence an election in your favor. So, but voting, what that does is it gives you an opportunity to pick a candidate that best represent what you believe, mm-hmm. what your issues are, whether it's a community issue or a national issue, but you get a chance to pick a candidate of your choice. So you have to exercise that voting right. People did die; they gave up their lives for that issue. There's a reason why they didn't want us to do this in the first place. I will say, I can see why people are discouraged. Mm-hmm. There is a reason why they're discouraged. Mm-hmm. Partly it's because of us, and it's partly because of the system. Mm-hmm. You know, but we're going to have to take a wise approach to it, but everybody's going to have to put their hand in it to make a difference. So that is the reason why I believe that we should be voting. No matter what, whether you feel passionate about the voting process itself or not, I think you'll get there eventually. You know, eventually you'll find a leader. You're going to find somebody that believes in something that you believe in, mm-hmm. and it's going to be able to push forth an agenda, and especially if you get somebody's ear. You know, there's some system people out there in this system. There's system people that are set up from the powers that be, mm-hmm. and there are people that the community actually can rally around and say, hey, look, we want our candidate in office so mm-hmm. they can represent what we believe in. Mm-hmm. So there is a dichotomy there.
Thank you for sharing that. Well said. Brother Issa, why do you believe voting is not is not important for us to do?
Okay, first of all, how y'all doing again?
Right.
I'm gonna tell the truth. Al Kamar called me and said, Issa, I want you to come on my radio show, talk about voting, what you think about it. And I know kind of how you think about it because I teach classes And our Kamar does come to my classes, and I love that you all come to my classes. We all learn and stuff. Before I get started with that, I wanted to say that this brother said something very important. He said we got to take a wise approach to voting. So at the beginning of the show, when we was getting connected, Hanifa and Dr. Baruch set up a video that I wanted to show for 46 seconds to your Facebook listeners and everybody listening about, I like to have fun. There is nothing wrong with voting. Absolutely nothing wrong with voting. But when you vote, you wake up in the morning, you put your clothes on, and you don't even know what the definition of vote is. See, when we're dealing with law terms, we have to know what we're doing. If we don't, we're called incompetent. I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care how lovely you are. I don't care how old, young, whatever. In this world, there is a law of polarity. You're either incompetent or you're competent. There's nothing wrong with voting. But voting means a preference or choice, the expression of his free will or her free will, vested by a member of a legislative or deliberative body. Black people are not a part of any deliberate body or legislative body. Period. In the story. It's not debatable. Or of a constituency of a body of qualified electors in regard to the decision to be made by the body as a whole upon any proposed measure or proceedings, or the selection of an officer or representative, and the aggregate of the expressions of will or choice, thus manifested by individuals, is called the vote of the body. In the beginning of this definition, I said the word suffrage. Suffrage is a vote, the act of voting, the right or privilege of casting a vote. Everybody has a right to cast any vote, but I am sui juris, and I know what the United States of America is. The United States of America is a corporation, not a landmass. So the United States, according to law, is 28 U.S.C. 3002, parentheses, 15, parentheses, lowercase a, which says that people who are in the United States, I can't even vote for you because I'm not a part of that corporation. Because black people are not a part of the United States corporation. So when you called me about being on the show, it was so beautiful because the day before the show, I was watching Michelle Obama talk about voting. Guess what she said? Make your voices heard. And that's all this game. They say, okay, yeah, I hear you. And then when you do that, your pretend vote, the popular vote. See, watch this. See the news people, they love to have a story. So they say, look, guys, 497,000 for Trump. 400. That's called the popular vote. It means absolutely, positively Nathaniel, which means nothing. And that's the only wise approach that I have to it. So if I know that that vote doesn't mean nothing, and I know that the people who I am voting for have never said, Issa, here's what we're going to do for the Moors. Because I'm a Moorish American national. I'm not a United States citizen. I'm just like Jesus. See, Jesus was a Moor, and Jesus didn't vote. And the reason why he did not vote is because he knew who he was. See, I know that nobody that I put in office is going to care anything about me. All they're going to care about is their $180,000 salary, their books, their speaking engagements, hugging children, and they're going to look at me and say, son, just deal with it. So that's my reason of why I think that voting is not mandatory. But if you want your voice heard, by all means, get your voice heard and get your white little sticker and say, I voted today.
Okay, well, you said a whole lot, a whole mouthful. So, okay.
They have to take notes.
No, it's,
Go ahead.
Delaneo, did you hear anything in that you agreed with, or maybe you didn't, that you wanted to expound on?
Can I say one thing before we give it to Delaneo? See, I will vote for him because he looks like me, and he will take my letter that I would write to him and say, man, you running for state legislative? Man, I support all my brothers. Can I come up and see you? And Delaneo would say, you sure can. And then I would hit Delaneo with, yeah, what y'all doing for the Moors? And then Delaneo would tell me. And then he gonna get my vote and everybody else I know vote. But if he talk about some United States bankrupt corporation getting our vote, we're not gonna do it. Especially 2018.
So you're saying the difference between local voting and voting in the help me out, local and
Local, that's
and
what that's
national,
that was.
national
Yeah,
voting.
you see, watch this. State legislative. Watch this. See, watch Delaneo. This is just real. See, we love each other. I'm growing. I can't be lying no more and just be talking just to be talking. It's about foundation. States are colonies. That's what the state is. The first word, and it even teaches you. The C was the first letter, didn't it? Yeah. The states were colonies. The colonists named the states. So guess what? They got their own body politic. Now, the black people don't have no stake in that thing because black people are dead in law according to the United States government, which is called civilitiae mortuus.
Okay, well, before you go further, because we going
That's
real
all.
heavy.
Right, real
For-
quickly.
You should have
Yeah,
never
real
asked
quickly.
me. I'm telling you.
No.
We're trying to build to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good show right here.
Delaneo, what do you think about what he just said?
First of all, to the audience, if you want to learn what he just talked about, get his book. Because he done went really in. So no, I've heard of some of this before. You know, I've yet to. I just actually had a conversation with my wife's uncle, and he went through some of the same stuff. You know, the United States is a corporation and all that. I haven't done enough study on that stuff. You know, I have not gone down that
fair.
trail enough to come back and try to even speak on a lot of those things. So I'm not going to go in and attempt to go into all that right now. I had another brother come up to me and talk about that stuff, and he couldn't even let me get a word in edgewise, and he said the same exact stuff, and I was like, whoa. But he really didn't want to hear nothing else I had to say. You know, it was almost like I was brainwashing. He was the one that was right. So I was like, look, all right, so if you're not going to listen to me, I'm listening to you, but it's not going to be a respectful conversation, then we're not going to do it. So, but thank you that I would get your vote. I don't know what I can do with the Moors, but that's a whole new situation as well. I do know a little something about it, but the reason why, again, I would just say that we need to continue to vote is that we have to get inside of things first and foremost, you know. And I was holding my brother's book right here, and just in his introduction, he was talking about prayer, and he was talking about, you know, we're spiritually dead or something to that effect. I'm not sure if I'm quoting correctly. Civilly dead or something like that. Okay, but I mean, I do believe because of my relationship with God, you know, he did pull on me, and he would not let me sleep for a whole month until I stepped into this voting process, into this election process. I literally could not get any sleep because God was on my heart about it. I was wrestling and tossing and turning. I said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be nothing. I don't want to do nothing with it. But because I was obedient to it, I jumped in there and I found out a whole lot of things about the situation. I felt like my voice was heard. I was able to go to churches. I was able to speak on behalf of young people who were being abused in our public school system. And I was able to talk about some different various issues where now we got some things shifted in our county just by me being out there raising up my voice. So if it's just my voice being heard, I'm okay with that too. You know, so if it is not my vote that you say that counts, but I'm good with that, you know. But if the voice is being heard, I think we need to lift up our voice in our community and see what's going on, the evils and the injustices that are taking place in our community, the police brutality, the abuse that's going on in some of our Prince George's County public schools that are going on with our young people that's not getting reported, it's not getting to the next level. You know, we need to have those people on speed dial. Now, because I'm in that system, I got state's attorney. Next state's attorney, I got people who are very deep into the political system where I can pick up that phone, where I can send a text down. Hey, look, what are you going to do about this issue right here? If you don't do something about it, now we got to put pressure on you. Okay, now we're going to bring it to the news, we can bring it to the media. If you do not take care of the business like you're supposed to take care of the business. All right, so those are things that you can do because you jump into. You can't fix it from the outside. You can't be looking on the outside. Well, they should be doing this and they should be doing that. You know, and the one thing that I questioned God about, why did you call me to do this? He said, well, who do you want in office? I said, somebody that's honest, somebody that's going to tell the truth, somebody that's going to fight on behalf of the people, somebody's going to raise up their voice, somebody's going to be bold enough to go out and speak what they need to speak. And then I had to stop and think about it. And I was like, wow. I said, oh, okay. But I didn't question it no more. I just went on and jumped in there. Am I a politician? By no means do I think I'm a politician. I'm just a person that's going to get out there and do what I got to do because I see something that needs to be done.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just listening to what you were saying, and you bring up a very important point,
Yes, ma'am.
which is talking about addressing certain injustices, fixing certain issues in our community.
Yes,
Isn't that our responsibility? And I feel like when people really focus so much as far as elected officials are concerned, if we get this person in, then we can start to change this. I feel like we're putting too much on government, to fix our problems.
Right.
So doesn't that process start with us versus our elected officials, even before we even get there?
Oh, absolutely. I believe also, too, I was just thinking about it the other day, I was listening to a song. It was like, the change that I want to see begins in me. So you have to be able to sit there and say, within yourself, this is what I see what's going on. And yes, we do need to come together as a community, as a people, or whatever the case is. I don't discourage between races or whatever. If you come together with this cause right here, and this is an agenda that's going to help the community as a whole, especially people of color, I can care less about what color you are at that point in time, as long as your heart is in it and you're down for the cause. So yes, I do believe that we need to look in the mirror. We need to start with ourselves. We need to challenge ourselves to step into a process like this, and we need to get more educated, like my brother was talking about the process. I mean, he went to an education of something that I heard, like I said, it's a little bit more deeper than where most people are at right now, as far as their mentality and what they're thinking about as far as that's concerned. But yes, Khalifa, I think you're right on point. We do need to start with us. We do not need to put it all on the elected officials, but there's a reason why they're in power. And with certain powers, you can do certain things.
Yes.
Okay.
So as it pertains to Black people as a whole, and maybe going back to when we were first given the right to vote, that kills me every time.
Right.
But what difference has it made for us, considering the condition of our people today in 2018?
Okay.
How, and this is for both of you guys, like, does it really matter, the voting process, as it pertains to Black people? Because when you look at the political process, money talks oftentimes.
Absolutely.
And we are not the people to push. We can't get our agendas pushed because we can't even get our money together oftentimes.
Right.
And so who wins? Those who are in power remain in power. Those who are wealthy remain wealthy. The gap just gets larger and larger.
Right.
So how has voting really helped us, considering our condition today? Just looking at our people today.
Okay.
And that's for both of you guys.
And I guess I would have to dig into that a little bit different, and just throw a question back there so I can get more clarity about what you're asking. Are you saying that basically from the time that we had voting rights, that nothing has changed for our African American or Black people community?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm asking if it's really that important, and we're pushing, we need to get our people in office, and for goodness sake, we had a president.
Right.
That's what we like. That's what Black people like to say.
Okay.
We had a Black president for how many years? 8 years, right? And that's the thing. The political process is not as simple as getting a Black person in. There's too many other layers involved that you have to get through. So I think to simplify it as just get your man in it does us a disservice. Because then you put the pressure on that one person when you don't understand how everything is connected and how it really works. So when I say that, I mean, what has us trying to get our man in office really done for us, considering the condition of our people today? Some people would say, as far as our family structures and so forth, we were better off when we were during segregation, versus integration. I mean, if you look at some things, black businesses, more black people
Stronger.
we were stronger as a community versus today. So my question is, we have the right to vote. We can get the little sticker, but as it pertains to us as a people, if we're being real, let's talk about what has changed outside of the fact that we're still being oppressed. We have the right to vote, but we're still being oppressed. So what has really changed as it pertains to us? Not America as a whole, but as black people.
Right. Well, anything about change. Change don't always happen overnight. When I look into my biblical studies, I look at a group of people that's been enslaved for over 400 years, and then another group, and then the same group come another 400 years. So in slavery and being in chains and shackles can take a process in a while. I don't disagree with the fact that there is still being oppressed. The voting is being oppressed.
Yes.
There's a reason why they're still trying to oppress the vote. Because they know that the vote has some power. All right. There's a reason why these people are fighting, or the system is fighting. Okay. So to not make you educated, or might make you want to get out there and discourage you, and try to just get your mind going another way and get you feeling like I personally felt like, oh my God, this vote, but I still got to do it. I go back and I think about my ancestors, and I say I got to do it on their behalf. I don't know. They know better than I do why they were fighting in the streets and getting, gunned down or sprayed down, But I look at the fight, I look at the struggle, I'll say, you know what, they were out there for a reason. You know what I mean? So I'm going to pick up what were they fighting about? So, I mean, as far as black people, I wasn't living back there, so I don't know exactly all, but I do know that because of the integration of the integration now of our schools, we no longer are segregated. And I thought about that as I was coming to here. I was like, you know what? I said I think this forum, or I know some of the philosophy is going back to more of a segregated situation, and I just don't know. Why were they fighting back there? And why did the white people want us to stay segregated? Did they want us to stay segregated because they felt like we were going to be more powerful? Or did they want us to stay segregated because they felt like they'll be more powerful and they don't have to necessarily give us the same inclusion for education, for example? So now that our black kids and our we can get the same education as their white kids, so different things like that, I feel like has definitely progressed us. Do our education system need a uplift? Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why we're getting out there and we're still fighting, to make sure that our education system looks like Montgomery County, Howard County, Prince George's County needs to come on the uprise. We have the wealthiest county here, one of the wealthiest black counties in the nation right here. And we still are struggling and behind and lacking on our educational goals. And our kids are still going a little behind the 8 ball. So the fact that we are getting educated and we don't have to go in the back door somewhere to go sit down at a restaurant and eat somewhere, or the fact that we don't have to sit on the back of a bus somewhere. I mean, I think we have progressed as a people. Are we where we want to be? Absolutely not. But there's a still struggle. There's a process to this thing, and I don't believe there is one person that's going to jump in. I had an argument with a guy when I was on the campaign trail. He was fixing his truck, and I thought he was him when I first came in because he reminded me of not casting any dispersions on him. So, but anyway, he looked like him, and we got into it, and he was telling me the same thing, what you were saying, like not one black person can get in office and change anything in the white man system. And he was going on that route, and I was like, okay. I said I do believe that change can happen by one person, especially if God is with them. I'm a big believer in God. I believe God can blow all of Maryland away and all the United States away. If we're so corrupt and we're not changing and we're still oppressing people. I pulled a scripture up that said, yeah, he'll do that. He will come after your oppressors. Eventually, God will step in this thing. You keep oppressing these people. You keep killing these innocent black kids, and see when God step in. All right.
Well, let's hold that right
now. I don't want to go too deep on that, but that's
Issa. I do want you to just share in some of what you heard as far as what he's saying. What is your thoughts?
Okay, like Come on, give me like, because he said a whole lot.
He
And
did.
is there a point that caught your mind that you want me to pontificate on?
Yeah. Some of the things he mentioned about better school systems and things of that nature. Can these things be done without the vote?
Absolutely.
Okay.
How?
Right.
The truth will set you free. See, we be doing too much. We be doing too much. We need to get within ourselves. You know what I do? I look in the mirror everywhere. I used to look in the mirror every morning because I got to the point where I graduated from doing that. I used to say, change me. Change me. And I would look right at myself. Change me. When I was going through hard times, change me. It's the reason why I am not happy is because I'm doing something wrong. It has nothing to do with anybody outside of me. And I don't have an ego, and I know how my mind thinks. And my father used to always say, boy, I live myself 24 hours a day, so I know myself better than anybody. And so since I know myself, and I know I'm the only one that can enact change in my life before I give it to somebody else, I got to become the best. And so what I did was I just started studying, learning, going to the Library of Congress, praying at night, trying to do certain things, see what the system's going to say when I do it, and then come back and say, damn, why did they not do it? And then I started to learn that really ain't nothing wrong with the system. But it's a lot of people, but there's something wrong with the people who in the system. So when we call ourselves black, we mess it all up. Because what we don't know is that black is a legal status in this country. It is not a man or woman. There is no such thing as a black man, white man, none of that. I tell everybody that I come in contact with, we are spirit man and spirit women in a garb of flesh. But if you call yourself black when you get down here and you don't proclaim your nationality, see, the only people who can participate in political things are people who have nationalized. And because we call ourselves black, we have no political power whatsoever. And that's just something that we need to learn and wrap onto it. And like me, this my brother. I would love to vote for him. You know why? Because he want to learn this. I can feel his spirit, and I can feel because I want to learn. I don't want to go back and forth with nobody. I want to learn. I just want the truth. Bump all that faith. That's the problem. No one say, you my brother.
That's
he
right.
say, you my brother.
Right.
And then he put his hand on me, you know what I'm saying, like that. And then we deal.
Right.
That's how we deal. But see, guess what?
Right.
You gay if you do that. You a sucker if you do that. So we got a lot of things that we got to fix because we have been lied to. So
Well, let me ask you this question. You had mentioned that we aren't nationalized. Is that not working within the confines of the system too, though?
No.
If you're going to get yourself nationalized, or don't you have to go into the courts of law in order for that process to take place?
Okay, come on. I don't like you no more. I love you because you asking the right questions. Nationalization is an international thing. Okay, first of all, here is a fact, because my brother gave me, I gave him time, he'll give me a little bit of time, I'm not going to take it long, but this is some good stuff.
Go for it.
Morocco, which is the people of your ancestors, they let the United States come over here. Drop the mic. Morocco, the Empire of Morocco, which is called El Morocco, is what this land is still called to this day. If you do not believe me, go to the Library of Congress and you will find it. Morocco say, y'all want to start something called the United States? Cool. Now guess what? Say, no, I mean, I be teaching, so I want people to repeat after me, but I'm not going to do that. Morocco are your ancestors, because you don't have any black ancestors. And the people who was our ancestors never called themselves black. Other people called us black. It was a tag. So so they did that for a reason. When we call you that, you're not a Moor American national anymore, and then we can put you into slavery. And George Washington never told you about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that said any black person, Asiatic, Ethiopian, Mexican, Puerto Rican, anybody with dark skin who can go right over to the Secretary of State office or the White House and say, how you doing? I'm a free Moor. And you out of slavery. That way you don't have to vote in the United States corporation. See, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, all them people, I love them. But you know what I know? They don't love me, y'all. And see, why would I vote for someone who don't love me? If you don't love me, that means you hate me. And I can't even get mad that you hate me. I just gotta know you do. So I'm not gonna participate in any effery where someone hates me. Because all I'm being is goofy after that point. And then my man said he's spiritual. I read the Circle 7, the Bible, the Holy Quran, all of these scriptures. And know what it say? Man, woman, know thyself and know that you are one with your Creator. You don't need anybody outside of you. And then for everybody who loves Jesus, Jesus said in Luke 17:21, you trying to go to heaven? It's within you. You're looking for the kingdom of God? It's within you. So we got to start looking within us and stop looking at Trump and Hillary Clinton and people who are inventing stuff to murder our people. That's goofy to me. And then we forget what we just saw. We keep running over this because we get intellectual. All of us get this. It's called intellectual masturbation. We love to talk about things, and I'm the king of that. But guess what, y'all? The Electoral College is the one who does the vote. If you keep ignoring that, then I can't talk to you no more because you're just really being ignorant. Your vote means absolutely nothing, not because I'm passionate and talking about it. It's because it's just the facts of how it works in the United States of America.
So I have a question. So as it pertains, like the if there are policies out there, and any one of you guys can answer it, well, mainly you, since you're that's you on the opposing side of voting. If there are policies that affect us.
Now I vote for him.
Yeah, well, okay.
I mean, I'm voting for him.
Yeah, but if there are policies that are causing us to not progress as a people, there are policies in place. Mm-hmm. Without the political process of being a part of that political process, how do we bring about changing those particular policies?
Okay, can I answer that then go back to you real quick? Mm-hmm. I'm going back to what you said. You spoke very eloquently earlier about, it's things about us we got to do. We're supposed to be sitting down and saying, guess what, y'all, meeting, private place. Hey, y'all, this is the truth about the United States. Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all, this is the truth about the state colonies. Hey, this is the truth about the Ku Klux Klan. Are the ones who invented the colonies that you're voting for state officials for. Now, are you going to reject that or are you going to receive it? And then we start from there. Simple.
Okay. You mentioned something that came and it went as fast as it came. But you said Jesus did not vote.
Jesus did not vote.
Expound on that for us.
Wow. Okay, first of all, I love Jesus because what I started to learn with Jesus means justice. Jesus only means justice. There's so many places in the Bible where it says it. One is 1 Colossians 4:11, and we shall call him Jesus, which means justice. When Jesus came down here in the allegorical story of the Biblios Helios called the Codex Inscriptive that the Moors put together, it's stories of how you're supposed to live your life. Now, Jesus nationalized. That's why he didn't have to vote. Issa, yes, Alkamar, show me where Jesus nationalized. All you got to do is read Matthew, the 2nd chapter, verse 23. It is a reason that Jesus said, and I shall be called a Nazarene. Guess what that meant? I am not under your government. I love everybody. I ain't marching, singing Black Panther, nothing. But guess what? I am not a part of your government. I am a Nazarene, which was his spiritual example for us to do the same thing when we get down here. You're not supposed to come down here and say, what you want me to do today? What school I'm going to? What's this I'm doing there? You're supposed to be like, God is my father. God, I'm made in the image of God. So all I got to do is when I need voting things and stuff that makes the world better, I can just go within myself. And then I can call you, and you can call her, and she can call him, and we can call him, and then we can call Dr. Brew. And if you call Dr. Brew gonna say, come up to my spot, let's get it all together. Private meeting, 9:05, anybody late, boom. And we find out who's serious. See, black people not serious because this is the definition of black. Black is an adjective. First of all, when you call yourself black, you're incompetent. Who? Issa. I don't like talking about people. Issa, you are incompetent if you call yourself black because you're calling yourself an adjective and you are a noun. It's of the very darkest color. It's marked by tragedy. It's disaster. It's despair. It's the blackest day of the war. It is pitch black, coal black, jet black, ebony, inky, stable, a black, tragic, dark, disastrous, calamitous, catastrophic, cataclysmic, fateful, unhappy, miserable, sad, wretched, heartbroken, grief-stricken, sorrowful, anguished, desolate, despairing, disconsolate, downcast, dejected, gloomy, cynical, unhealthy, weird, morbid, gruesome, and sick. And it also means you lost your consciousness. See, black is an English word. And because we're in an English colony, the English colonies are going to go off of that word. So who is the idiots going to call themselves black?
But what about the people who say that Moor means black?
Moor does not mean black. Moor is the true human being of the earth. A European can be a Moor. Everybody who has dark skin and everybody who is really trying to rise to their full potential are trying to be more than black, more than white, because those are just crayons. This is our nationality. And I said on Dr. Baruch's show, I say it on every show, Stevie Wonder, who everybody loves, had a song called Misrepresented People. In 1492, they came up on the shores, 700 years, educated by the Moors. And they was educated by your ancestors. You never was on a slave ship. You have never seen one. A lot of things have been lied to you. And a lot of people are in denial. And my father always told me this, son, denial is nothing more than a self-imposed coping mechanism designed to protect your ego from information you can't handle.
Okay, thank you for that. Woo, it's a lot. It's a lot.
You started it. I've been minding my business, and people want me on the show. I'm gonna tell the truth.
No. I was gonna ask. If there any of you guys want to speak on the Electoral College and why are they a hot topic? For the past few election years, you hear people talk about, well, my vote doesn't matter because at the end of the day, but doesn't that apply more so to the presidency than the local elections?
Yes,
So
exactly.
it does.
It does.
So I'm glad that you answered that. So now, does local elections matter more? Maybe that's where the power is at, or it doesn't make a difference because at the end of the day, eventually we still got to get to the presidency. But most people, the way they explain it is, you get your officials in, which then affects the electoral, right, exactly. So should we be more focused on the local elections? And can you speak more to the Electoral College and why is it such a this scary word of recent?
I'm not sure exactly the reason why it's scary, but I will agree with him. On some areas where your vote, he might believe that your vote don't count in some aspects. I do believe it does vote. That it does count, especially on this level. You do start at the state level, and those guys become your electoral college for your national elections when we cast our votes or whatever the case is. So our elected officials on the state level, he looks and he sees all their votes or whatever they're coming in on for behalf of this candidate or that candidate or whatever the case is, and that person has to cast their vote for the national electoral college, whatever, or for the state electoral college. That's how you get that blue state, red state stuff that pops up and say, hey, this guy won this state right here, because the state local guys actually put forth their vote and say, hey, look, we're voting on behalf of our constituents in this state because they want this particular candidate. So, so getting
But
involved.
that overrides the people vote, the general populace of the people vote.
It could if they're not going with their constituents. So, so they do have the opportunity or the power to actually put their vote in place. As far as, you know, they might see, all right, most of these votes came in for Bernie Sanders or something like that, and
Because isn't that what happened in this last national elector where Hillary Clinton received the popular vote, but Donald Trump won the presidency because of the Electoral College?
Exactly. So that's the way they have the system set up. So I mean, that's not just a, you know, our people situation. That's just a United States situation and how they got the thing set up. That's a Republican versus Democrat kind of situation, where we're fighting in that kind of war. You know, should it be for the popular vote, or should we go with the Electoral College vote? So the popular vote, then your vote will actually matter. So that means you will actually vote. They will count your
Well,
vote,
as
and
it
that's
stands,
just, and that's just what it will be.
doesn't.
Whoever the popular vote will be the guy who will get in. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So.
Because from what I'm hearing is that the candidates actually pander to the Electoral College. That's not so much as the people, you know, like he was saying, that's just what do they call it? Fun and gay. That's just the hoopla of the whole process when they go out and talk to the people and to the rallies and all that kind of stuff. But the actual pandering, the actual serious discussions and the behind backroom doors, closed doors discussion go on with the Electoral College individuals.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that definitely could happen. You know, that's what we call politics. So that's why when you're selecting a candidate, you got to see if this guy is a politician. He's gonna go with what you believe, or what the popular vote is in your district or your state or whatever the case is. You need somebody that's gonna represent you. You need somebody that's gonna step up and it's not gonna be sitting there, you know, I don't know what to call it, but just, you know, pandering. You know, they're not gonna be pandering back and forth with each other. You know, trying to, hey, look, you do this for me, I'll do this for you kind of stuff, you know. But that's what politics is sometimes. That's what they do once you get in the middle of that stuff.
And that color doesn't matter in that case, because there are a lot of people, right? Because at the end of the day, the only color that matters is green, is money.
Yeah, it's
you know,
green.
so people are just like dollar signs, you know. So that's why I'm always like, it's not just necessarily black people. It's like black people being the quote-unquote minority in this country. How do we even trust the political process? It's full of people that have no love for us. Why do we even want to even trust it? You know, you're one man to their 100 men. You know, I mean, it's really just discouraging. And like you said in the beginning, you can understand why a lot of people are just discouraged from the political process. It is overwhelming for us as people when we keep putting certain people in offices, and you hear it all the time, even on the local level. We put you in office, and everything that you said that you would do, you did none.
You don't do.
Let me just speak on that just real quick. I would agree with you too, but I believe you know, we do speak from our community, you know, but there are other communities that they put certain people in office. They're hating the fact that they got a president right now that doesn't represent them. There's some poor white people sitting them in rural West Virginia somewhere, thinking that they was duped and they were sold a bill of goods. They are not getting represented right now.
Sounds like
it's
us.
not just us. It's the oppressed. It's the poor. It's the downtrodden. It's the whoever. You know, looking for some hope and some answers, and somebody help. Please change my dynamic and my system. You know, like my brother said right here, you gotta look within yourself. You know, he talked about the kingdom of God. He's talking my talk right there. You know, the kingdom. Jesus did say to his disciples, you know, don't look here and there and low and there. You know, the kingdom will be on the inside of you. You know, I do believe that Jesus left his spirit, and for those who ask for his spirit, and his spirit will lead and guide us into all truth. So you have to receive that though. All right, because you don't want to operate off your own spirit, your own emotions, because you're going to go this way and that way. You don't know who to trust. Your discernment will kick in, your spiritual gift will kick in. God will enlighten you and say, nah, that person right there, don't you dare vote for that person right there. You know,
So my question is, Is there another option? Why is voting like the only option for, just speaking about black people in general? You know, why do we put so much focus and attention on casting a ballot for specific candidates in order to get things done in the confines of this system? Why don't we look for different options and alternatives? Why don't we do that?
Why don't we look for different options?
Especially if if what we're voting for, like my sister was saying, if they promised you all these bills of goods,
how many disappointments do you need and letdowns
before you decide? Well, let me try another approach. Why don't we ever try another approach?
Go ahead. She asked you.
So I mean, I would ask, I would definitely be down for open discussion as far as getting some things done. I'm wide open when it comes to getting things done for my community and my people. I am wide open for that. So if we have another plan or we have another something that I feel like it will resonate and we can actually light the fire under our people to get out there and get some change done in our community and our education system, to put some fire behind some things. But right now the process is what it is right now. Until we come up with something better, it is what it is. That's what we have to work with right now. We got to throw people in there that are going to jack up the system, change some things, don't care what nobody say.
But is what it is because we don't even consider something different?
It could possibly be.
I was just going to say that the idea that that's all we have, I actually, I don't know that I could even receive that. I think that we just haven't allowed our minds to think outside the box. I also think that we have not allowed ourselves, because of fear and because of the unknown and because of uncharted territory, and we don't want to kind of get into that. So we don't even allow ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to even go there mentally. We go right. So So what happens is it's like us being programmed from very young. Right. So this is what's important. Like in the beginning, you made the point that everybody says your ancestors died for this. That's how we guilt people into voting today. You know what I'm saying? To the point where someone don't want to vote, it's almost like we look at them like they're stupid. Oh, that's stupid of you. Or you shouldn't have an opinion because you won't even vote. And I'm like, no, that's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Because so when you say that's all we have right now, I'm not sure. My body, my being is having a hard time receiving that, because I'm just saying, I just think that we just have not been creative enough and think outside the box enough, outside of the political process
that was given to us.
Right.
When you say the right to vote.
Right.
So this process was given to us.
How dare you not vote? It's your right. Your ancestors fought for. And so you, in the beginning, you were saying like there's a reason, and I'm like, I was waiting. I'm like, tell us the reason. Because everyone says there's a reason they fought. There's a reason to die. What is the reason? The right. But it's also right to choose. Not because my aunt died for me to vote mean that tomorrow I have to vote. I still have that right as an individual to choose. So when you talk about not having any other options and this is all we have, immediately, we do. And that's what I'm saying. Is this really the only option we have right now?
Well, I think that the topic of this is the ballot or the bullet, right? So there are some other options, Are there going to be options that are going to resonate with everyone? That's why I said, is it going to resonate with our people? It's going to resonate with our community. When we think out the box about how we can adjust our community and how we can affect our community, what plans do we have on the table? Who's coming up with these plans? I'm not sure if my brother got some in the book or whatever the case. I would love to read it and see what he got cooked up in there. So
you said there were other options.
Yes.
Okay, everybody, understand this right now. Here is the only option. You have to ask God to forgive you for calling yourself black. Black is a dead status in law. It's called civiliter mortuus, meaning you're civilly dead in the eyes of the law. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And in the United States Constitution, black people are called property. So you got to stop calling yourself property. Issa, how do you stop calling yourself property? You nationalize. Guess what? In my book, I show you how Vincent Gray, they have Noble Drew Ali Day. Noble Drew Ali is the guy that's on my shirt. He taught everybody in 1913, guess what? You're not black. Negro, colored, or African American, you are a Moorish national.
So how is this information going to free us?
Oh my goodness, when we start sharing this one by one and everybody's starting to get it, then we have our own nation. And we don't have to vote for anyone in the United States de facto corporation. Let me finish. Watch this. Baltimore, the mayor of Baltimore, the city of Omaha, Nebraska. See, watch this. This is called Black History Month. As people, Martin Luther King has a day. We have a week, Moorish American week, and this goes exactly what this beloved sister said. Outside the box. See, this outside the box. And then I had to write this book because, like you talking about, God told you. God said you will not leave this earth until you tell these people the truth about nationality. And then we're going to give people the 1933 legislative journal that says everybody who takes the L in the Bay, they got their own joints. And but because you do that real name, see, L means God. See, a lot of people ain't God's child. A lot of people are William's child, and Johnson, and Peterson, and Cooper. See, those were your slave masters. And you still want to keep those names. It is 2018. We gotta tell the truth. Nationalize, proclaim your nationality, because and I keep telling you, when you nationalize, you are a Moorish American national. The national is the highest citizen on planet Earth.
Well, this is...
Can I ask a question?
Yes, okay, go ahead.
So I hear all of what you're saying right there, and it sounds well educated, and I can see, adopting this mindset one by one. Every citizen in the United States become a Moor or right? They have the opportunity, regardless of color, to understand that we came from the Moorish Empire, right?
Yeah, see, watch it. If you don't have a nationality, you have a right to nationalize. Mm-hmm. The European people can come under the Celtics.
Okay.
Some of them can come under as Moors, because some of them are amalgamated. Mm-hmm. See, I also have a book called We Are All Moors. Okay. So, and then you see the Geico commercial, they trying to throw you little stuff. Hey, I got more savings on my Geico joke. And the European dude said, can't go wrong with more. What else is there? And the stuff that people not getting.
I guess the question I'm having, I'm questioning.
Me and you gonna talk after this.
Yeah.
So
we have a system that's in place right
yeah.
now. If you just say half the people believe exactly what you're saying right here, okay, and then we still have the system in place. No, we don't have to vote. Like my sister said right there, it is totally your option whether or not you want to go to that poll or you don't want to go to that poll. It is totally up to you. But the consensus and within the confines of the system, yes, we do try to motivate people to go to the polls, because I believe I get in there, I'm a game changer. I'm different than the next guy. I'm different. I'm going to think out the box. I'm going to fight on behalf of my people. And from what I hear, there's a lot of things going on where, the president of the state senate, he requires you he pulls you in the back office somewhere. Hey, didn't I put this issue up on the table? Why didn't you vote for it? There are things that go on like that. But you got to be not a yes person. You got to be able to stand up and say, no, I don't care what you say. This is not going to benefit my community. I'm not voting for it. I don't like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if half the people go here and there's a system still set up, how are you going to be able to affect change as far as, in your educational system, except for the fact that we're going to create our own schools and we're going to create our own. I mean, this is including white people, and black people, right here, everybody. I'm sorry.
We have about less than 5 minutes left. You want to address
the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. If everybody has been dumbed down for all these years, it's going to take us a minute to get it back. So the first step is proclaim your nationality. Also in my book, I have my letter that I wrote to the Embassy of Morocco, the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson at the time. I sent it off registered mail, and now I am a proclaim Moor. I have my whole process in the book.
How does that change your scenario in this system?
I don't deal with the system. See, people can't understand it. If it's not simple, it's not accurate. There's the system. Okay, let me read what the system talking about. Let me see how this benefit me and my people. Up, it does it. Next. But people say, oh, like, I'm scared. I'm a coward. I have fear. This is all that we have. All you have to do is nationalize and let your voice be heard that way, and then you're under a nation now, which can be recognized by the United Nations,
So
and then you can
nation
start sending
within
them
a
stuff.
nation?
No, we already have one. We just debased it. Cause we call ourselves Blacks, Negroes, Colors, African American. This is your flag. It's called the cherry tree that George Washington chopped down that everybody heard about in elementary school. But they was laughing at black people. We chopped down y'all cherry tree and gave y'all the Star Spangled Banner. This is your flag, the
So
cherry
you
tree.
saying no, don't participate?
I'm saying if he is great question. If this brother right here is running for office, I'm gonna say, dude, you running for office. What you gonna do for our people? And then I'm going to have him write it down, and so we can tell. And I'm going to be, as my activist voice, go to Dr. Baruch, you, Ali, everybody know, hey man, we got a brother who running. I'm mad at him. I sat with him on Al Kamar's show. He doing this thing. We should vote for him.
But isn't that participating?
No, watch this. When we going to teach him, son, can't vote for you till you nationalize. Because we can't vote for black people, because black people are dead in law.
But what's I'm still confused about the difference. If my last name is Rael and his last name is Miller,
Mm-hmm.
how does that make us any different within this system?
You proclaim your nationality through announcing it to the system.
But does
I
that
get that.
protect you from
Police
No,
brutality.
no, okay, watch this.
That's
Great
it.
question.
That's
No,
it.
okay, watch this. Great question. See, these are questions that we want people to ask. What protects you from and everybody's okay, there's no such thing as police brutality. It's called terrorism. Because brutality is not even in the law
I agree
dictionary.
with that. Okay.
So that's very important. And the word democracy is not in the
So
United States
how does
Constitution.
my
So these are
name,
important
last
things.
name, changing my name?
It's not
stop the
changing
police
your-
from killing me?
It's not changing your last name. That does stop people from killing you. What stops people from killing you is the karma that you brought to yourself. See, watch this.
like calling
If
themselves
somebody,
black?
no, listen. If a police is killing you, that's spiritual. Something happened in your life that you brought that back to you. Yeah, the outside world's gonna say, oh, rah. European people, anybody who gets murdered, it's your time. But we don't want to talk about those spiritual
I
things.
have a hard time with that, brother. Because
Okay.
in my mind, what just came to my mind is slavery. And
Yeah,
that's
they
like,
want to kill you because you black, because you
but
of your
that's-
skin color. But guess what? It's the way that the world is going right now. See, watch this. We have been disobedient, and Hosea 4:6 says, "My people perish from the lack of
I
knowledge."
understand that, but
And
to
some of us have
accept that is to accept that a whole bunch of white devils, okay, got together, conspired together, and oppressed, enslaved, and oppressed my ancestors, and for me to turn around and say that was their karma. What did they do?
I don't know. That's spiritual. But I know one thing they didn't do. They never nationalized. Can I promote my book?
Yes, I'm gonna let you do that. We got like 30 seconds to get the last points in, and we have to close it up. And we
Jesus
will be
said,
doing
honor
part
your
two.
mothers and fathers or you will die the death. Jesus said you will honor your mothers and fathers or you will die the death. Matthew 15:4. It was not saying black people, white people. Anybody who is not honoring their ancestors, be warned. That's your ancestors. You're not going to honor your ancestors? Are you serious? In 2018, knowing that everything on the internet is showing you that everything comes from the Moors, and you still want to call yourself a Negro, a black? You should be ashamed of yourself.
What's your book? Your book.
Black people are dead in law, so restore your citizenship. This is from my own publishing company, and you can order it at www.buythisbooktoday.com. Again, black people are dead in law, so restore your citizenship at www.buythisbooktoday.com. Book of the century.
Issa. Delaneo, 30 seconds.
All right. I'm gonna go back to he talked about the kingdom earlier, and the Bible talked about when the Holy Spirit comes, He will lead and guide us into all truth. I'm not going to just play off of that. It is what it is. You have to ask God to fill you with His presence and His Spirit. in the name of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If you do that, he will do that. If you make that sacrifice before him, he will do that without a Quran, without a preacher, without any of that. But that's what's going to really lead us into guidance and truth. Jesus said we're of this world, but we're not in this world. We're citizens of heaven. So I do agree with that in that sense, but just making sure that we all under the same auspices and the same God that's going to lead and guide us and direct us into all truth. So we don't have to be in the dark. We don't have to be fumbling through life. We can find out what the truth is right now.
All right. That is the Empower Hour. We're going to have to do a part 2 of this because it was a whole lot that I didn't even get to in question. But thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys joining us on the program. Hanif and I do this every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. Please join us on the Empower Hour Talk Show on Facebook, or you can see us at any time, day or night, on our YouTube channel under Miss Free the People. Until next week, take care of each other. Peace.
Peace.